A comprehensive risk analysis is part of the strategic planning, and risks related to climate change can have significant consequences for companies. However, the strategic planning isn't just about the risks. It is also about the opportunities that a transition to a low-carbon economy presents. Taken as a whole, the low-carbon economy is expected to create 400,000 jobs in the UK alone, based on world-leading expertise in offshore wind, smart systems, green finance and the automotive sector. Climate change adaptation and mitigation is predicted to generate investment opportunities worth up to $26 trillion. Bloomberg reported in June 2018 that of the $11.5 trillion investment projected between now and 2050 in power generation, 85% will be in clean technologies. According to Mahindra Group Chair Anand Mahindra, this is the biggest business opportunity of the next 2 decades. Taking advantage of opportunities could lead to benefits such as reduced operating costs through efficiency gains and cost reductions, increased production capacity or new product lines resulting in increased revenue, and diversified and more resilient supply chains. There are daily reports in the press of inspiring examples of companies who are taking opportunities and realizing the financial or operational benefits. Here are some examples. A new electric, zero-emission container ship, the world's first, is being built by fertilizer maker Yara. This is expected to save 100 truck trips per day in southern Norway and ultimately cut running costs. In the mining sector, Anglo American is testing new processes that have the potential to significantly reduce the amount of resources needed to separate valuable minerals from valueless rock. Antofagasta has arranged for the Zaldívar copper mine to operate on 100% renewable energy, saving around 350,000 tonnes per year of greenhouse gases, equivalent to 87,000 vehicles. In textiles, a new process developed by Dyco eliminates water and bonding chemicals in the dyeing process. A single Dyco dyeing machine saves 32 million litres of water each year alone. In addition, as the process is not reliant on water, the machine can be sited with freedom from water sources. And as fabrics don't need to be dried, the technique also speeds up the overall dyeing process by 40% and cuts energy use by 60%. Integrating climate change considerations into existing strategic analysis and planning can build a more resilient business. But future-proofing your business in conditions of extreme uncertainty presents an interesting challenge. TCFD's recommendations call for companies to describe the resilience of the organisation's strategy, taking into account consideration of a wide range of different climate-related scenarios, including a 2-degree or lower scenario. Scenario analysis, or in other words, decision-making under conditions of uncertainty, is a common analysis that informs strategy based on consideration of a broad range of uncertain future inputs and outcomes. Given the long-term horizons and the uncertain nature, probability, and magnitude of climate risk, decision analysis is a particularly useful tool, since it helps management to understand better how a business might perform under different future states. It is not a prediction of what will happen. It is an assessment of what could plausibly occur. The approach will vary by business and sector. For some companies, the scenario analysis could be based on simple qualitative analysis. Others, for example in the oil and gas sector, will likely use highly sophisticated quantitative models based on multiple inputs. The type of questions may be: how would a company adapt if regulators required it to reduce its reliance on carbon-based energy by a specific percentage over a given number of years? How would a food manufacturer respond to ongoing damage of crops that had arisen from the impacts of climate change? How would an insurance company cope with a significant increase in extreme weather events? How would a construction company adjust to more stringent policies on energy efficiency standards for new builds? How would a beverage company deal with reduced access to water? To get started, there are publicly available climate scenarios. The International Energy Agency and the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change both offer useful materials that consider transition and physical risks. Transition scenarios are pathways to deliver a given limit to warming, for example 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. They present plausible assumptions about the development of climate policies and the deployment of climate-friendly technologies to limit GHG emissions. Physical climate scenarios typically present the results of global climate models, referred to as general circulation models, that show the responses of the Earth's climate to changes in atmospheric GHG concentrations. This six-step model, developed by TCFD, provides a useful framework. It's particularly important to note the first step, ensuring the whole process has sufficient oversight and is part of the main strategic planning process for the company at board level. The model then goes on to an assessment of climate-related risks. The risks are then used to develop scenarios. From this, the potential impact on the company's strategic and financial position can be assessed. The results allow the company to consider its response, which can include changes to its business model and new areas of investment. For example, SSE, a leading UK and Ireland energy supplier, considered 3 scenarios based on increased global temperatures of 2 degrees, 1.5 degrees, and 3 degrees or above. The conclusion that SSE reached from this exercise has increased their confidence in their business resilience. The analysis concluded that SSE's current mix of business will continue to make a strong contribution to the transition to low-carbon electricity in the UK. It also showed that SSE's balanced range of assets would be vital in every scenario.